Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to mix it up again a little bit and I'm going to replace the hydraulic control unit on the DCT on this 2013 Dodge Dart. My name is Jeremy, this is Region Automotive, and let's get to work. One last thing before we get started. I kindly ask that you like, comment, and subscribe. It simply takes 10 seconds for the viewer, and it really does keep me motivated to continue making videos and get this information out there to you guys. I really do appreciate it, and as a bonus, it makes me as happy when Borat is finally ready to take his lovely sister's hand in marriage.
High five!
Okay, so before we get into it, I'll show you my setup a little bit here. And the reason being why I wanted to make this DIY video in the first place is because I was at a parts car this morning and I was struggling to get the unit off there, and I couldn't really find a detailed DIY video online, so I figured I'd make one while I work on this. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a 2013 Dodge Dart DCT, and yeah, let's jump right into it. I'll get you guys set up and we'll start taking parts off. The first step is to take off the engine cover with the two 10mm bolts. Alright, with the engine cover off, we're going to remove the battery, and then this is the smart drive unit, and then we're going to take the battery tray off. And at this point, if you have a scan tool, like an Autel or whatever, or a Snap-on that has like more sophisticated diagnostic functions, say that 10 times over, now would be the time to depressurize your hydraulic circuit. So I ran that through my Autel and it pumped all the fluid back into the reservoir, and then it told me to disconnect the battery so the fluid doesn't bleed back down into the circuit. So if you have a sophisticated scan tool, now would be the time to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to remove the battery. I already have the battery hold down removed. That's just that standard triangle piece with the 10mm bolt on it. Disconnected my negative terminal, and then here for the positive terminal, just going to pop this cover off, and then just a normal 10 to take it off there. The smart drive unit has this handy clip here, and then just two 10mm nuts here, or bolts, sorry. Okay, so for the battery tray, from what I remember, from doing it earlier this morning on the parts car, it's surprisingly a pain in the freaking butt to take this tray off. So first you take this upper portion off, and there's two 10mm bolts there. So there's one there and then one just behind the coolant hose there. So I'll get that off, and then we'll work on getting the lower half of the tray off. Actually, I'm going to try a little 1/4-inch ratchet. One bolt off. Second bolt off. For that, I just use a 10mm with a deep socket there, and I snaked it under the coolant hose. So we'll take this little side bracket off first. While we're up here, we're going to remove the 10mm bolt there that holds the fuse box on, and then there's a 14mm bolt there as well. I lied. That's actually a 13mm bolt, not a 14. So here's where things get a little crazy. Out of all the battery trays I've removed, they normally have two little bolts here that go into the frame rail. But for this one, yeah, we're going to have to jack up the car, take the tire off, take the wheel liner off and the bottom skid plate. And then there's going to be, if I remember correctly, two 10mm bolts that go into the frame rail from there. And there's one 13mm or something, but anyway, I'll detail it more once we get under the car. This is absolutely ridiculous for a battery tray. Okay, so for the wheel liner, it's pretty standard wheel liner. We had a couple These are 8mm screws, so you're going to have one there, 2, 3, 4, whatever, 4, 5, 3 or 4 10mm screws at the front by the bumper, and then your just normal pop. Let's get just a normal pop and pull trim clip there. Get it to focus, maybe. There. Yeah, so just your normal trim clip. So just take all those out. You got your fender liner out. My car didn't have a splash shield on the bottom, but again, pretty standard to get the splash shield off. And lucky or unlucky, someone's been in here already. So I'm missing the other 13mm, but if your car hasn't been messed with, you're going to have that one 13mm, what is that, a bolt that holds a tray in there. And then you have, this is a 10mm bolt that holds the washer tank to the battery tray. So I'll get that 10mm off, and then I'll show you the other 2 bolts underneath we have to get if mine are even in. So I just took a look, and there's only one of the 2 bolts, but I'll show you, again, if your car hasn't been messed with, I'll show you how to access them. So right now, we're at the wheel well. You see there's a battery tray, the side of the battery tray there. So we're going to go under the car. Under the car. And let's see. Okay. So there's the one spot, literally where I have the camera on. That's the spot where my bolt is missing. And the other one, let me get that tag out of the way. The other one's right there. Those are 13mm bolts. So you have 2 13mm bolts from the bottom inside frame rail underneath the battery tray that holds it on. Again, so stupid. I've never dealt with a battery tray like this, but if you're fighting with yours, that's probably why. So you have one bolt there, it's missing on mine, and another bolt there that I'm going to take out. That's a 13mm. Now that I have all the bolts disconnected on this battery tray, there's just a couple small clips clipping it to the frame rail, and it should just pull right up. Actually, I lied. I forgot I have the wiring harness is clipped in the back there, so I'm just going to unclip that. Just the wiring harness on the side's been unclipped there. May fight you a little bit, but it came out. So like I said there, underneath, you can't see that at all. Like I said there underneath, there's 1, 2, 13mm on the frame rail that's holding it on. What else you got here? Can't remember this 13, that one there. And we took that cover off. Not completely necessary, but I did. I would say it is actually necessary to get it out of the way. And then, yeah, here you have this one 10mm holding the washer tank on and the 13mm there. So next on the list, I want to remove this charge pipe here. To do so, like you have a little vent tube there that's just clamp, channel locks, take that clamp off. And then these plugs on this car have these little tabs, so you have to pull the tab out, and then I believe it clicks and pulls off. I'll confirm once I do that. And then we have just the hose clamp. I believe it's a 7mm or 8mm or something. Again, I'll confirm once I get to there. Yeah, so once you pull that tab out, it allows you to push down, and then you just push down and slide it off there. Maybe. Yeah, so the that hose clamp ended up being a 7mm. This tab, it pushed down, like you can see there. So once you pulled that little safety release, you push the tab down and you just pull it off. Mine was kind of a pain in the to pull off, but I got it off. And then there's a little plastic mount there on the charge pipe. That's a 10mm, and then there's one down there as well. Again, mine's missing. I'll show you once we get down there, but for now we're going to take off this 10mm here. So we are under the car now, and I'm moving the charge pipe around, and you can see the bracket. Again, someone's been... I believe this transmission has been rebuilt already. According to the guy I bought it off of, the clutches were done, so that's why there's a bunch of stuff missing here. But anyway, Focus. Yeah, so there's the bracket. There's a 10 millimeter bolt that holds that bracket onto the side of the engine. So you want to get that off. And then under here, for the charge pipe where it connects to the intercooler, you have that metal tab there. I believe it's going to pull out from the top. I'll clarify once I get it off. So this was just one of those standard metal clips that pull out there. So I pulled out the ears out of the tabs and I kind of just had it angled up like that. And then I came around with a pick on those edges there and I just pulled the clip out. And then once the clip out, that pipe slid right off. So I must admit, it's actually pretty handy that this hydraulic control unit has its own wiring harness. So yeah, that means like all the wires here are contained on the unit. You don't have to disconnect every single one. You just have one main plug there that just comes off with that red slide connector. Another main plug there, same thing as a slide connector. And then there's one plug right there on the top of the transmission that you have to get. You just pull that gray tab out and then you press down and the plug comes off. And then down there, here, I'll go to the side of the car. And then, yeah, so there's that plug there for, I don't know what that is, range. Well, that's not a range or speed sensor, pump or something, whatever that is, take that plug off. And then next we're going to work on the hydraulic lines. And I could be wrong, but I think we only have this one line here. And that's just with that little metal tab, similar to the charge pipe. I'll take that off and then I will report if there's any other lines that we have to take off. Next, we're going to get, there's two 5 millimeter Allen screws or bolts. There's a hydraulic accumulator. I'm zooming in there. You can see the two 5 millimeter screws. So I'm going to work, I believe, just a standard Allen key work best to get those off. So next, I'm going to do the two, well actually, to start, all the mounting bolts for this hydraulic control unit is this E12 socket. So you'll need that special socket. And then there's two kind of trickier ones to get at, and then the rest are just the flange face there. The two trickier ones, there's one with the reservoir right there. You can see, so that's at E12 beside the engine mount, external hex there, external torques. Yeah, so anyway, it's the smaller of the two, that's E12. Then if you go down on the side, watch my dripping hydraulic fluid. There's one more E12 right there that goes through the pump into the side of the transmission. So I'm going to remove those E12s now. So next, I'm going to go all around the hydraulic control unit. I'm going to remove all the E12 mounting bolts on the face there. I'll show you on my new used one. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe. I think that might be for the motor, we'll see. 8, 9, 10 if I didn't count that one. Anyway, I'll take them all off. I'm going to use this new one as a template and then I'll show you once they're all off. At this point, I forgot to turn on my microphone, so I'll do the voiceover explaining what I did here. I took off, it ended up being 9 mounting bolts for the hydraulic control unit there around the flange. And then I also ended up taking the hydraulic reservoir off. That was held in with the 2 T27 torque screws. At this point, I'm showing you the 2 hydraulic control lines that go into the transmission from the hydraulic control unit. You have the one on top of the transmission, and then there's another one on the side of the transmission. These are the only 2 hydraulic lines you have to disconnect. Finally, I got the old control unit out, and then I switched over all the wiring harness, the hydraulic pump and accumulator, and the necessary lines, and I reinstalled my new to me hydraulic control unit in the car. And then in the next clip, I have my audio back and I'm showing you the programming that you need to do to program your new hydraulic control unit to the car. All right, now that we are inside the car, I'll show you the programming you have to do. And again, you need an Autel or similar scanner to complete the programming. So go into the diagnostic function there. And then if you have an Autel scanner, you have to buy the subscription and buy the Dodge specific vehicle package, I guess. Once that loads up, go into auto selection, read your VIN. Okay, should pick up the pin there. Click OK. Yes, that's my car. Okay, so if you go into diagnosis, I like to go by control unit, powertrain, transmission control module, special function, and then the main ones that you'll need to do, so you'll need to bleed your hydraulic circuit. What else is there? New actuators. It's also not a bad idea to run like most of these, just kind of go through, but like the main things you'll have to do is a hydraulic circuit and new actuators. Once that's all done, your hydraulic control unit should be installed and working in your car. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions below in the comment section, and of course don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and again, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.